Feel free. We'll do that at the end. First, I want to introduce the man who has made this all possible. This has been his vision for numerous years. The evolution from 2 years ago when we talked about bare knuckle, people looking at us like we were talking about the end of mankind and womankind, to a year ago where it seemed like it was almost perverse curiosity, to now people are saying, yeah, when can I get that in my state, in my casino, in my commission? This is the man who made it all possible. This is his vision. He is the president, the founder, and the CEO of BKFC, Mr. David Feldman. Dave, BKFC 2, a year ago, was here in Mississippi. We're back now for BKFC 7. Talk about the evolution, especially after our card last in June 22nd in Florida, Malinaji Lobov.
Well, I think you said it right, Sean. It's about acceptance now, and they're accepting us. It's not like, oh, maybe I'll do it. Now they're like, can I do it? So it's a whole different big step that we took as a company. We're on our 7th event now, the 4th time right here on the Gulf Coast, 4th time in not even a year here in Biloxi. So Biloxi's like our home away from home. They love bare knuckle here. And what's happening around the world with bare knuckle, with other companies starting up bare knuckle, we really created something special. And, you know, we expect to really be a legitimate player in combat sports within the next 2 years.
Also on stage with me is truly one of the hardest hitters in the history of mixed martial arts. He is with us again. This is Anthony Rumble Johnson. Rumble, how have you seen the evolution so quickly in BKFC? Just how the fighters are approaching, how the fights are playing out?
This is a new breed of athlete right here that I've never seen before. You know, we've seen numerous mixed martial artists come through, and we're like, oh, that guy is super tough, he's super good. But I don't think people truly realize how tough you have to be a part of bare knuckle. So I seen my first event was Cancun, and that was pretty wild. And I seen, you know, a couple more events, but it's just growing more and more and more. The fans are loving it more and more. The fighters are loving it more and more. So like you said, at this point now it's about acceptance, and people are finally starting to accept us.
With me on stage as well is my broadcast partner. He's a 20-fight UFC veteran, 2-0 in BKFC, Chris Lights Out Lytle.
Thank you.
Chris, you said when you made your BKFC debut last year, you fought Drew Lipton, you said you felt almost naked going in there after all of your fights, pro MMA, pro boxing, the fact that you didn't have gloves, it was really a shock to your system.
Sure, and let me get out of the way because this big fella's overshadowing me. Nobody can see me, so makes me feel like a little kid back there. I don't like it. So, yeah. First of all, I've always had a dream of fighting naked like that. So it finally came true. Now, actually, yeah, it was weird. I've been in combative sports for so many years, and no matter how prepared you think you are, you get out there and you're used to having gloves. Even though the 4-ounce gloves, it felt way different to not have any gloves. So it was an adjustment for me. It took me a minute, but after you kind of get used to it, you really realize just how special this sport is. And I always tell people now, it's like boxing. It's like the sweet science on steroids. It's so much more compact. You have to be better than you have to be at boxing. You can't get hit once. You have to be more technical. You have to be better at every aspect of it. And once I started understanding that, I really fell in love with the sport, and it makes me want to be around it. And the beauty of it is when I talk to other people and I talk to them about it and they watch it, the first thing they always say is, when's the next one, Chris? When's the next one? So the more we get out there, the more people get to see this, the better it's going to be. And that's why I'm just so impressed, like how the growth has happened so far, and Dave's been able to do what he does now is giving this away for free so everybody can see it, because that's just going to like make the sport blow up, and that's what makes me really happy about it right now. So.
There's a friend of mine in Kansas City. He's a UFC veteran. He's thinking really hard about signing with BKFC, and I said, watch how Johnny Bedford fights. You want to know how to fight in this sport? Watch Johnny Bedford. He is the new and the first BKFC 135-pound champion. This is brutal, Johnny Bedford. Johnny, I knew you from Bellator. You had a great run in the UFC. When we were together at BKFC 1, June of last year in Wyoming, you said, this sport is made for me, and you've proven that.
Yeah, here we are a year later, a year and a couple months later, and I've kind of You know, I've said a lot of things since the beginning of the time, that this sport is made for me and that I'm going to be man of this organization, the face of this organization. I'm 4-0 now. We're waiting on the next opponent. I'm just super happy to be a part of it. This sport is growing. It's the next big thing in combat sports. It's different than everything else. Toughness matters. Skills obviously matter. They said it best, you know, you don't want to get hit, but you got to protect how you hit people too. It's a completely different game. And yeah, I'm kind of tailor-made for this sport. I'm just super happy to be a part of it.
We're now going to talk to the fighters on the card. We're going to start with the man who was also with us at BKFC 1. You like the fighting more than you like the talking, don't you? He wasn't the favorite for the tournament, except he was a favorite to one person, himself, and I saw that quiet confidence with him at our fighter meeting a year ago, June in Wyoming. You knew going in that this was your sport. You thought you could take through the field, even though there were much bigger names, fighters with bigger resumes. Talk about your journey coming through, becoming the heavyweight champion, and now in this first title defense. This is, by the way, Arnold A.J. Adams.
Thank you. It was a long journey. You know, I'll give y'all a quick rundown. I went to the tryout in Philly with Dave. Nate sent me the invite. I flew out there, didn't pay my light bill, slept in the airport, bust my ass in the tryout, got a call back, smoked everybody in the tournament. Now I'm the champion. That's pretty much how it happened. It happened that fast. I fought 3 times in 4 months. Never got injured, never had a black eye, but if you've seen my fights, you've seen my opponents, and it looks like they were fighting a wall. I'm here now. I was supposed to be fighting Alejandro. You know, I guess I scared him and he backed out of the fight, and they brought me Chase Sherman. It's about to be a battle tomorrow. If y'all never seen me or him fight, you know, he's a UFC veteran, plenty of fights. I'm a veteran in MMA and bare knuckle boxing. It's gonna be a lot of bloodshed tomorrow. It's gonna be a good fight.
This is our co-main event. It's for the BKFC Heavyweight Championship and also the Police Gazette American Heavyweight Championship. His opponent, I won't call him the challenger because I think that's disrespectful. He's an extremely accomplished athlete. He was a great college football player, great run in the UFC, now undefeated in island fights. This is Chase Sherman. Chase, talk about your emotions coming into this title fight.
I mean, it's just the same as any other fight, you know. That gold right there is just a little extra. The nerves are the same. I'm just honored to have this opportunity, especially after the last fight was a draw. You know, a lot of people don't know this. I know Dave knows this, and some people that were close to me. But before that last fight, my liver ended up shutting down, and I was in the ICU for like 3 days, and I was in no way, shape, or form supposed to fight. The fight was 3 weeks later. But I had to do what I had to do to provide for my family. Kind of swept that under the rug. I didn't tell these guys. You know, I don't think I got to perform up to my best abilities, but it was a good fight. Right now I'm healthy. I'm in the best shape I've ever been, and I'm ready to put on a show for everybody.
Tomorrow on BKFC 7 here in Biloxi, Mississippi, you're going to see another title fight. It's a bonus because this is part of the 4-woman, 135-pound BKFC title. This is a tournament, but also she's already a champion. In her last bout, she was crowned, and she captured the belt from the Police Gazette, the Women's American 125-pound championship. This is Christine Faria. Christine, I saw you fight in Invicta. You're a great MMA fighter, but this sport really suits you. Just talk about how you've evolved from MMA into bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle is something I come from, you know, from when I was younger, and what saved me. So fighting on the streets, I fought on the streets a lot, so coming into bare knuckle, it wasn't as shocking for me. And I just know that I have the warrior heart, and I can take the punches, and I'm not scared when I get in there. So I feel a lot of these girls are going to have a lot more fear to get hit and try to hit. But this is my second nature. This is made for me.
She will be facing, again, it's a tournament semifinal number 1, but also at stake as a bonus, it's the BKFC Women's American 125-pound Championship. Originally from the Dominican Republic, she now lives in the American Midwest, very close to me in Iowa. This is Helen Peralta.
What's up?
Helen, I've also seen you fight in Invicta, very successful as well. Same question to you. Talk about your transition from MMA into bare knuckle.
For me, the transition was smooth. All my MMA competitors, they always tell me, I'm going to beat you, you're just a brawler. I always beat them, but I am just a brawler, and now I get an opportunity to showcase that aspect of myself. Thank you.
One of the things I love about commentating this is the different promotions I've commentated for in MMA. Sometimes you admire fighters and you just never get to work for them. They're in a different promotion than you are. So, guy I had a chance to commentate, someone I admired for a long time. He had his win in his bare knuckle debut earlier this year. You will see him face Melvin Gillard on this card. This is Isaac Valli-Flagg. Isaac, your style in MMA, I thought, lent itself really well to bare knuckle. But you were telling Chris and myself in our fighter meeting earlier just about the transitions you've made in training. Talk about that more.
Yeah, you know, when you have gloves, you can kind of throw with reckless abandon, you know, like we were talking about. But you have to. We worked a lot. My coaches and I worked on picking our shots better, moving a little bit more, and making sure that we were being real accurate with those shots, because with no gloves, the head isn't very forgiving, you know. So you, especially, you know, I mean, both me and Melvin come and we throw heat, and so we have to be accurate with those punches when we're doing that, or else our hands are going to suffer more than the other person, you know. So yeah.
Our main event fight, Jim Allers versus Leonard Garcia. I think both of these fighters are incapable of having a boring fight no matter what the combat sport is. Jim Allers made his BKFC debut last time out. Someone, again, I knew from MMA, I knew from the UFC. You're a high-level grappler, and you've talked to us about using your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, using that with your clinch, your dirty boxing, using that effectively in BKFC.
Yeah, you know, everyone thinks I'm just a grappler for the most part. You know, I have a lot of submission wins in MMA, but most of those wins came from knocking down my opponents, you know. I knocked them down and I said, hey, let me choke them out now. So I do have those heavy hands, as I showed in the last fight. You know, my goal is always to get there, close the distance, and show them what's up. So hopefully we do the same thing again.
And finally, talk about a fighter who I was absolutely thrilled to commentate. I think anybody who's ever watched MMA and watched the UFC became a fan of this guy. When Dave Feldman called me last year, and Dave, you said, what about getting Leonard Garcia? Do you think that's a good decision? I was like, yeah, I think that's a spectacular decision. He proved it in Mexico earlier this year in Cancun in his BKFC debut. Everyone, Leonard Garcia.
Thank you, guys.
Leonard, what really popped out for me in Cancun, you looked like you were having so much fun against Julian Lane. That was a tough fight. You looked like you had a blast. We were on the airport shuttle afterwards. You were still smiling 6 hours later.
I love to fight. I love to fight. I mean, you guys have no understanding of it. I get emotional thinking about it. I love to fight, man. I mean, Jim, I appreciate you stepping into this, and thank you for giving me a fight. But, man, you don't know what you got yourself into, buddy, because I'm coming, man. I'm coming.
So tomorrow night, it's BKFC 7 from Biloxi, Mississippi, our fourth time here in the great state of Mississippi, the great city of Biloxi. This is going to be free. I'm going to go back to David Feldman. We had a hugely successful pay-per-view on June 22nd, BKFC 6. Again, that was the Lobov Malignaggi main evented card. You made a really bold decision now to give back to the BKFC fans. Our first 6 were on pay-per-view. This is going free around the world.
I think we made a really big splash June 22nd in Tampa. We had the boxing fans and the MMA fans all tuning into this event. And because of that, our fan base really grew, and we said, look, let's give back to the fans. Let's give back. Without the fans, we wouldn't be here today. So for the past 6 shows, they helped us get here today. So let's give it to them free. Let's expand our fan base, and let's get back to the fans.
We do have media present. I'll take a few questions. You don't have to be media if anybody in the audience wants to ask a question. I do this a lot, guys. I know nobody ever wants to be first, even though there are questions. If we do have any questions. See, nobody ever wants to be first. Susan Singari will be first. Well done, Susan.
Okay, guys, really excited about this fight this weekend. Christine, I'd like to know if there's any extra pressure on you because this is a title fight for you.
Thanks, I forgot about that. There's no extra pressure. Every fight I go into is a championship fight for me. Everybody I prepare for is a world champion in my mind.
Don't know if we have any more questions. Available media, we do have a question. Yes, sir.
I'm doing a little grappling match coming up here, Quinn. It's on something kinetic, so we'll see. I don't know, man. I'm getting pretty old. I'll be 45 here in a couple days. I know. Don't look at me like that, man. Jeez, making me feel bad. It's overshadowing me, making me look at me funny now. I've had a couple of surgeries here. You know, man, I absolutely love fighting. You know, I feel like Leonard over here, and talking about fighting, I can't stop doing it. It seems like so. You never know. I'm just trying to get healthy right now, and the funny thing is, you know, I've had so many surgeries, and I get quick. I heal real quick, but that's a damn thing. I don't heal quick right now. I don't know what's going on. Somebody told me a while ago that when it comes to fighting, Father Time is undefeated, and I think they're right. But I'm gonna try and fight his old ass because I'm getting hurt right now, but I'm going to try. We'll see. We'll see.
For assembled media, if you do want to get one-on-ones, the fighters are certainly available. We want to thank everybody for attending our weigh-ins and our media roundtable. I'm going to give David Feldman the final word, but again, a reminder, this is live and free around the world on YouTube on the BKFC page, as well as on Fight TV. It's BKFC 7 tomorrow from Biloxi, Mississippi. Again, everyone, the founder, the CEO, the president of BKFC, David Feldman.
Just want to say thank you to all the fans, especially to all the fans, because without you, we wouldn't be here today. Thank you to all the fighters for stepping up and toe the line. This event is stacked from top to bottom. We have 9 Fighter Tonight candidates on this event. But don't forget to watch it free live on Fight TV or on the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship YouTube page. That's live on Fight TV or the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship YouTube page. You can still get a few tickets left at the box office. You do not want to miss this event. It is stellar from top to bottom. And anybody that likes Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, make some noise.
I think they're going to do photos. Thanks, guys.